We're very excited to present to you our Fall Winter 21 Trend Spotlight, where we will be comparing the behavior of trends between the European and Chinese market. So just to begin with a short introduction, I'm Jenna. I'm the fashion curator and trend analyst, and today with me is Melanie, our fashion editor.
Hello.
And to quickly introduce the report, so from our Fall Winter 21 Fashion Weeks analysis, back in March, we highlighted all of the major trends from US and European fashion weeks, covering fabrics, colors, prints, and shapes. Now, with Shanghai Fashion Week recently coming to a close, it's time to compare the trends we spotted throughout the European fashion weeks with the Chinese market to provide insights on how these trends will behave depending on the geography for the winter 2021 season. So now I'm going to let Melanie walk you through our methodology for the report.
So yes, for those of you who may not know, Eurytech is a data-driven trend forecasting company. We provide predictive analytics on market and trends dynamics with insights like consumer segmentation, all displayed on our platform of visual mood boards and quantitative data. So how did we build today's trend analysis? We use our proprietary image recognition technology, which recognizes thousands of products and trends and images to provide the insights you'll see in today's presentation. And this tech scanned millions of Instagram posts in Europe and China. And so all of the posts that you'll be seeing today, all of the trends, that you'll be seeing today are based on the curation of catwalk trends across European and Chinese Fall Winter 21 fashion weeks to give you an idea of women's wear trends covering all consumer segments in both of these geographies. And finally, the forecast today will concern the Winter 21 season compared with Winter 2020. So before we get into the trends themselves, I'm going to quickly go over our metrics so that you can easily follow along with some of the trends that we'll be using today. So first we have the growth rate or the evolution of a trend's visibility on social media images between two of the same seasons in different years. And then we have the magnitude, and this is a trend's forecasted visibility on social media images. We start from macro all the way up to massive. And together, these two metrics determine a trend status for the season in question. So we start down at a markdown, which is a trend to exclude, and then we move all the way up to a fashion bet, which is a trend to absolutely include in a collection. And then finally, we have our consumer segmentation. And this is broken down into three segments: edgy, trendy, and mainstream. And these segments represent the type of consumer that's most likely to go for a trend during the season at hand. So now I'm going to let Jenna take you into the color and pattern trends in Europe and China.
Thank you. So the first trend we have is yellow. And just like the North American and European fashion weeks, yellow was a major color trend that we spotted throughout Shanghai Fashion Week. It appeared in numerous collections, and it's a very cheerful and uplifting color that is predicted to have very similar behavior between China and Europe by winter 2021, with a flat predicted behavior paired with a small magnitude, which translates to a low level of market potential, making yellow a steady trend in both regions. The consumer segmentation represents a point of difference between the geographies. In Europe, yellow is most appealing to mainstream and trendy segments, while in China, yellow is most worn by our edgy consumer segment. The next color trend we have is bright pink. So it's another color that really defined the fall winter 21 season in both China and Europe, having a significant level of visibility across Shanghai and European fashion weeks. The color is slated to behave similarly by winter 2021 in both markets, with a flat predicted behavior along with a big magnitude, which makes pink a safe bet in China and Europe. Additionally, in both markets, the color appeals to all three consumer segments, which indicates that pink is a crowd-pleasing color regardless of the geography. The next color is purple, and while all shades of purple made an appearance during the Fall Winter 21 collections, pastel purple was by far the most common tone of the color that we saw, making it one of the biggest color trends for the fall/winter 21 season. The color is predicted to remain flat in both regions by winter 21 compared to 2020. However, in China, the magnitude is medium, while in Europe it is small, which means there's a higher market potential in the Asian market compared to Europe. The color is considered a safe bet in China, while in Europe it is a steady one due to this difference in magnitude. And lastly, in China, purple appeals to all three consumer segments, while in Europe, purple is the most attractive to the mainstream consumer. So next we have pastel pink. So in addition to bright pink, this pastel tone was another popular version of the color that we spotted between European and Chinese fashion weeks. It was particularly used for feminine, romantic looks, although we also saw it being applied to more streetwear looks, as you can see with the sweatsuit by Angel Chen. The color is considered a safe bet for winter 21 in both regions due to a shared flat predicted behavior and a medium magnitude. Additionally, the segmentation is also the same between China and Europe, with our trendy and edgy consumers being the most fond of pastel pink tones, which suggests that pastel pink has gone out of favor among the mainstream crowd for now. Another pastel tone we have is light blue. It's a classic color with a timeless appeal that we've been seeing a lot of lately, with several European and Chinese brands proposing head-to-toe light blue looks for the fall/winter 21 season. It makes sense that the magnitude of light blue is big in both regions, as this color already has a very high level of visibility in the market. However, in China, light blue is slated to decrease in visibility by 6 points by winter 21 compared to last year, while in Europe, it is predicted to increase by the same amount. However, despite this difference, light blue is nonetheless considered to be a safe bet in both markets for the winter 21 season. And lastly, the color is most appealing to edgy people in China, while in Europe, all three consumer segments are wearing light blue equally. Then we have green. Green is a fresh and cool tone that many designers have been incorporating for their fall/winter 21 collections on every type of garment, also applied to a wide variety of fabrics from fur to sheer to knitwear. The color is predicted to remain flat by winter 21 compared to 2020 in both markets, along with a shared medium magnitude, which makes green a safe bet to include in a winter 21 collection in both regions. The consumer segmentation represents a point of difference between these two markets, with all three consumer segments wearing green in Europe, while in China it is most favored by our mainstream and edgy consumers. And when you see the consumer segmentation divided between the mainstream and edgy, this often suggests that it is a mainstream trend that is being reimagined by more edgy brands, which is exactly what we saw during Shanghai Fashion Week. Now we have red. So red is a very opulent and rich color. It dominated the runways in both China and Europe throughout fall/winter 21 fashion weeks. It makes sense that red is a safe bet in both regions, as the color has a timeless appeal with a flat predicted behavior by winter 21 compared to 2020 in both markets. Additionally, the magnitude is big in Europe and China alike, which translates to a high market potential for the upcoming winter season. And interestingly, red primarily appeals to the trendy and edgy segments in China, despite its seemingly universal charm, while in Europe, the color is worn by all three consumer segments. Next, we have a neutral color. So we have medium brown. And based on fall/winter 21 fashion weeks in Europe, the US, and Asia, it seems like brown is taking over as the new black. The visibility of this neutral color is predicted to remain flat in both geographies by winter 21 compared to 2020. However, in China, the magnitude is big, while in Europe, it is medium, which indicates a smaller market potential in Europe compared to Asia. And medium shades of brown mostly appeal to the edgy crowd in China, despite this color being a wardrobe staple compared to Europe, where all three consumer segments are wearing the color equally. And the last color trend we have is another neutral tone. So we have navy blue. It was equally present in China and Europe during Fall/Winter 21 fashion weeks. However, there are a few key differences in the color's predicted behavior. In China, navy blue is predicted to slightly decrease by 7 points by Winter 21 compared to last year, while in Europe, the color is slated to remain flat. Since the magnitude is big in both regions, navy blue is nonetheless considered a safe bet in both China and Europe. And regarding the consumer segmentation, in Europe, all three segments are wearing the color, while in China, it is primarily the trendy and edgy consumers wearing navy blue the most. And now for our print trends. So the first one we have is stripes. Stripes is a classic print, but it's become a major trend as of late, with designers coming up with new and creative versions of the print or showing head-to-toe striped looks to make a bold statement with the pattern. We are seeing both horizontal and vertical stripes being applied to all types of garments, from knitwear to tailoring looks in both markets. So in China and Europe, the trend is considered a safe bet due to a shared big magnitude and flat predicted dynamics by Winter 21. Additionally, since stripes are a classic print, it's not surprising that all three consumer segments are wearing stripes in both China and Europe. The next print trend we have are shades, and this print can range from acid wash to diffusion dyed garments, which evokes an atmospheric effect that we noticed Chinese and European designers incorporating into their Fall/Winter 21 collections. In both China and Europe, the print is considered a safe bet due to a flat predicted behavior by Winter 21 compared to 2020, along with a shared medium magnitude. In Europe, shade prints appeal to all three consumer segments, while in China it is most popular amongst our edgy and trendy consumer segments, while it is not as attractive to the mainstream audience for now. And the last print I'm going to present to you are checked prints. So we saw a lot of different variations of the classic checked print, having a very high level of visibility in both China and Europe throughout FW21 fashion weeks. The print was applied to all types of garments, from outerwear to more formal dressing to head-to-toe checked looks. And although the visibility of the checked print is predicted to decrease by 9 points in China by winter 21 compared to 2020, the print remains a safe bet due to its big market potential. In Europe, check prints are slated to remain flat by winter 21, which also makes them a safe bet when paired with a big magnitude. And although it is a classic pattern, in China, check prints have an edgy appeal, while in Europe, all three consumer segments are wearing the checked pattern equally. And now I'll let Melanie take over for the materials and shapes.
So our first fabric trend that we'll be looking at is sheer. We noticed this fabric all over the runways with designers like Susan Fang, Valentino, Chin Peng, Jill Sonder, and many others. This fabric is a nod to post-COVID style, and we consider it to be a safe bet in both China and in Europe. Its big market demand potential and flat behavior signals to brands that sheer is a reliable fabric for winter 21. And as for consumer segmentation, all three segments will opt for sheer in Europe and in China. It will be edgy and trendy consumers only. And the second fabric we have is velvet. So tactile materials in general were a defining trend of the Fall/Winter 21 fashion weeks. And although velvet is predicted to decrease by 1% in Europe and by 5% in China for Winter 21, its medium magnitude across both markets qualifies it as a safe bet. With that said, though, the segmentation is going to vary a little bit between Europe and in China. So in China, it'll be the edgy consumers that will go for velvet. So it makes sense to see more daring designs from brands like Didu and Uma Wang. In Europe, on the other hand, though, all three segments will go for velvet, so designers seem to be leaning for more safe and classic designs. And then we have lace, and its feminine and delicate aesthetic has been really well received in Europe and in Asia this season. It'll be a safe bet in both markets thanks to a flat growth rate, a big magnitude in Europe, and a medium magnitude in China. In Europe, we're going to see lace with a broader appeal with designers like Valentino and Kate going for more classic looks. And then in China, lace will appeal to trendy and edgy consumers who typically purchase from brands with sort of out of the box identities like Yuhan Wang and Marchen. And similar to lace, satin is this luxurious, delicate fabric that we noticed quite often during these recent fashion weeks. So for this season, satin was most common on dresses and on outerwear. Brands like Super, Oud Wag, and Walk of Shame featured fitted satin dresses. And then we also see some outerwear with designers like Angel Chen. But no matter its product category, we predict satin's visibility to rise by 6% in Europe and to fall by 2% in China. But because both markets will have a medium magnitude for satin, we consider this fabric to be a safe bet come the winter 21 season. And then finally, for the consumer segmentation, edgy consumers in both places will be most drawn to satin. And then with the addition of mainstream consumers in China too, which Jenna explained, kind of signals designers looping back around to a previously popular trend and putting a new twist on it. Our next fabric is quilted, and it's definitely one of the biggest fabric trends that we've seen this season. We're seeing designers apply quilted fabrics to unexpected silhouettes and even accessories. We saw Susan Fang design sort of an 80s-esque mini dress. Chloe created an overly tailored coat. Miu Miu made long quilted ski gloves, things like that. And so this doesn't happen very often, but we predict identical behaviors for this trend in both markets. We expect a positive growth rate of 10%, a small magnitude, and an edgy consumer segmentation. So this combination of metrics is pretty interesting for designers with a more niche appeal because they can try to benefit from the trend's rising growth rate and small market share for the moment. Our next fabric is fleece, and this is a product of the Gorpcore movement, which is sort of a combination of the tech wear and the outerwear that we're seeing a lot of Gen Z and millennial consumers go for over the past few months. Its success has been really quick. We're seeing fleece at major brands like Dior, who featured a fleece jacket in their Fall Winter 21 collection this season. With that said, though, in Europe, we're seeing fleece drop by 23% come Winter 21. And with its medium magnitude, we consider this a last call trend. And so I would explain this behavior by considering it sort of as a fad for the moment. So fleece came up really quickly and it looks like it's going to go away as quickly as it came. But in China, it's a little bit different. We consider fleece to be a safe bet given its flat growth rate and its medium magnitude. And its edgy consumer segmentation is ideal for brands that we saw at Shanghai Fashion Week like Shu Tingqiu and Didu, who are comfortable sort of living outside of the box. Our next cozy fabric trend, I guess you could say, is mohair. And this was another popular choice for a handful of designers this season. In China, mohair is a safe bet for the winter season with its flat growth rate and its medium magnitude. We'll be seeing mainstream consumers wearing this fabric in China this winter. And in Europe, it's a little bit different. Mohair is a steady trend due to its small magnitude despite its flat growth rate. And in Europe, both mainstream and edgy consumers will go for mohair, which can be explained by its success over the last few seasons, inspiring a lot of designers to reinvent the fabric this time around and try to draw in some of the more edgy consumers. And very similar to mohair, we've also seen a lot of rib knit over the past year. It looks like the loungewear comfort movement is sticking around for the moment. So designers with different identities and consumer bases went for rib knit for their Fall Winter 21 collections, like at Egg House Lada, Uda Wag, Kim, among others. And so we'll see a rise by 8% in Europe with a big magnitude. And in China, on the other hand, we're going to see a decrease in 4% with a medium magnitude. With that said, we still consider both markets to have a safe bet status for this trend because their respective metrics seem to sort of balance each other out. And the consumer segmentation is similar too. Trendy and edgy European consumers and edgy Chinese consumers will go for red knit in winter. And our last fabric trend is fur. So fur is being reimagined in unique and innovative ways in fashion around the world, as it's one of the major fabric trends that we've seen in both China and Europe. It's predicted to increase it's predicted to decrease, 2 and 9 points in Europe and China. But because the magnitude is big in both markets, it'll be a safe bet in both markets as well. The consumer segmentation varies slightly depending on the location. We see that in Europe, all 3 consumer segments will be going for fur. And in China, it'll be more worn by the mainstream and the edgy consumers. So moving into the silhouette trends now, micro-length garments are one of the biggest silhouette trends from these recent fashion weeks, regardless of geography. So the mini skirt is slated to remain flat in Europe by winter 21 compared to last year, while in China, it's predicted to experience a slight increase of 9%. So the mini skirt has a massive magnitude in both markets, indicating a huge market potential. So when we combine the dynamics and the magnitude of the trend, the mini skirt is deemed a safe bet in both markets. And then finally, for consumer segmentation, the garment will appeal to all 3 consumer segments in Europe, and in China, it'll be the mainstream and the edgy people, just like we saw for the fur trend. And just like the mini skirt, the mini dress was the go-to dress length that we saw all over the runways this season. The mini dress is predicted to remain flat by winter 21 in Europe, while in China, it's predicted to experience a decent decrease of 13% by winter 21 compared to winter 2020. So although the magnitude is massive in both markets, the trend is a safe bet in Europe and a last call in China due to its decreasing dynamics of 13%. So in China, mini dresses are most popular among trendy and edgy people, and then in Europe, all 3 segments are going to be wearing the mini dress. Then we have the denim jacket, and this is definitely a classic outerwear garment that's making a comeback this season in Asia and in Europe. We're seeing a lot of denim on denim being styled with the denim jacket on the runways. And so in Europe and China, the visibility of the denim jacket is predicted to remain flat in winter 21, along with a big magnitude, which makes the garment a safe bet. And then additionally, in both geographies for the consumer segment, all 3 consumer segments are going to be going for the denim jacket for winter 21. And then our final trend today is the blazer. The blazer, kind of like the denim jacket, is a wardrobe staple for a lot of people. And we noticed that it had a pretty substantial presence on the runways in Europe and in China. So we predict that the blazer will remain flat in both markets. In Europe, though, the magnitude will be massive, and in China, it's considered big. So if we combine the dynamics with the magnitude, the blazer is considered to be a safe bet in both geographies. What's interesting to note, though, is that the blazer mostly appeals to edgy people in China, while in Europe, it's both trendy and edgy people that are most likely to wear the garment.
So now just to highlight some key takeaways. The first one is that yellow and quilted are the 2 trends that are considered steady in both markets, meaning that their behavior is either flat or increasing. However, their market potential is small. The next one is that bright pink, stripes, shade prints, denim jackets, and rib knit are amongst the trends that are a safe bet in both markets for the winter 21 season. Third, mohair and purple are 2 trends that are considered a steady trend for winter 2020 2021 in Europe, while in China they are safe bets, which means in China there is a higher potential market demand. Our fourth key takeaway is that light blue, medium brown, checked prints, and velvet appeal to all three consumer segments in the European market, while in China they're most popular amongst edgy consumers, which means that these trends have a more broad appeal in Europe, while in China they're perceived as being more niche. And lastly, we have bright pink stripes and denim jackets being three trends that are worn by all three consumer segments in both markets, which indicates that they have the most universal, excuse me, the most universal appeal regardless of geography. So that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. And actually, we didn't quite tell you everything. We have more trends available for our clients. Please get in touch at info@herotech.com if you're interested. And you can also subscribe to our newsletter to never miss out on the next reports or webinars. And now